Getting up to marine camps a bunch, and you'd open up your tent door and there'd be a glacier below you, and you kind of just have that brief minute of, am I really here? It was pretty fantastic.
And you see them from a distance and you kind of don't really take them into account, but when you actually get so close to them, the people are like this big, and it's just so cool.
We arrived to temperatures of -25, which is a big shock to the system. Even though they were coming out of winter in England, it's still a lot colder out there, and there's very little daylight, so just the initial sort of arriving there was very strange.
We started off on 3 boats, with the boys on one, the girls on the other, which was quite nice because there was loads of space, but as the river narrowed, we separated off and we were stuck on one boat.
It was a very, very tranquil place when you just hit the lake. It's absolutely huge. I didn't anticipate it being so absolutely massive, and that's just one of the stunning things about it. And it's completely isolated. You can go onto the banks of the lake and look for miles around, and there's just nothing but rainforest. That's quite surreal.
Living together with 12 other people for a month in a tent is a really big step, I think. But everyone rises to that challenge and is aware of that, and the preparation that BSES give is great.
We had 3 or 4 science projects. The main one involved surveying glaciers to see their rate of movement, and then we also did a bit of fossil hunting, and we were looking for snow algae samples.
We learnt about, for example, global warming straight away, simply because upon arrival our plan was to cross a frozen fjord. That year the fjord had not frozen, and that changed all our plans.
One of my favourite projects is where you do a 5-kilometre hike through the jungle with a couple of biologists. It's normally done in pairs, so it's 2 young explorers, a couple of biologists perhaps, and someone who just helps cut the transect, because not all of them were pre-cut, so you're kind of like slicing through the jungle with a machete, which is pretty cool.
My favourite was the turtles, actually. We went onto the beaches and would look for the eggs, collect them, take them back to the hut and sort of bury them and wait for them to hatch.
It was fantastic catching all these exotic species of birds. Things like the hummingbirds and that were fantastic colours, just a kind of once-in-a-lifetime experience. I don't ever kind of envisage myself holding a hummingbird again.
Basically, you go out in a boat, you look for crocodiles in the water, and you noose them, catch them, bring them into the boat and measure them and stuff. And so some of them were quite docile, some of the smaller ones. I mean, we caught a very, very large one. We caught a 2.5 metre one, I think, which is one of the biggest the guys have caught. And you do all these different measurements, and that's quite good because it helps to see how the species are developing and also which type of species is there in the area, which is all essential work really for conservationists.
In the jungle, when you're sleeping in the tents, you can hear all the animals at night time.
Being there was just amazing, just the scenery, looking out onto a frozen fjord, looking at the sunset, looking at the midnight sun, looking at the northern lights.
We saw tons of dolphins jumping, and it was really, really exciting. The first one you saw, everyone sort of pointing out, going, oh look, there's a dolphin over there, there's a dolphin to the right.
Every day is really exciting, and every day there's something new, and you just come to expect that. The people are amazing. It was a really good mix of people, and I was a bit nervous at the briefing weekend. I was like, oh, what are the people going to be like? Are they all going to be like super trooper, sort of really expedition-y based people, you know? But it was nice to meet people from all over the country and with a very wide range of interests.
It was really nice as well to meet people from different cultures to you, different, you know, they've had different upbringings, and just to get away from like what you've been brought up with, really.
The physical side of it was well paced, particularly because we were at altitude. There was no pushing yourself too hard. You went at the pace of the slowest person. So I never felt that I or anyone else was particularly left out from any of the experiences.
If someone's struggling and you want to push on, then you pick up some of their kit and carry it for them. And that really balances it out.
It is a big physical challenge, that's sort of the point. So if it had been easier, I wouldn't have got so much from the expedition.
All the little grumbles you heard at the beginning and all the worry just went out the window, because you just adapt. It's a different way of life, and you become used to living in those conditions, and you just don't have any problems, I find.
Fundraising, at first I thought I can't really do it and I'd really have difficulty with all the deadlines, but in the end it worked out.
When you're on the expedition, you kind of think to yourself, I've actually funded myself to do this. It gets a lot more out of the expedition because you know that your parents haven't been paying it.
I think I learnt a lot about interacting with people and getting on with completely different people who perhaps didn't have much in common with me, but we all had to kind of knuckle down, work together, sleep together, live together, cook together.
When you're put into a situation where you're with a group of 7 people you don't know at all, you really do have to work as a team to get, the job done for the day.
From thinking I wasn't a very strong character, I realised that when someone needs to take the lead, I can do that quite well.
I feel after the expedition I'm kind of a much more confident and capable person.
Other people who are considering going on a BSES expedition, I'd say definitely go for it. It's one of the most amazing experiences. I mean, I've got friends who went on other expeditions with other companies, looking at their photos, looking at my photos, their experiences and everything compared. I think I'd say I've got a lot more out of it and achieved a lot more. And also, not only do you get to do the trekking, but with the science work as well, it's like an integrated thing, which I think just makes it a lot more interesting.
I think certainly go for it. It really is the experience of a lifetime.